Stop everything. Because the penny you're about to hear about has quietly made ordinary people rich. I'm talking about a 1960 D. Lincoln Memorial penny that looks just like the loose change in your drawer, yet in the right version, it has sold for thousands of dollars, and in ultra-rare forms has become a true hidden treasure with life-changing value. Yes, a single brown little cent, minted in Denver, has shocked the entire coin world. Here's the mystery. In 1960, the U.S. Mint was rushing. America was booming, coins were needed fast, and quality control was stretched thin. Denver was striking millions of pennies every day, and that's when mistakes slipped through. Those mistakes were never supposed to leave the mint. But they did. They went into circulation, mixed with normal pennies, and today they are still being spent without anyone realizing what they really are. And that's why this story is so powerful, because your next penny could be big money. Let me show you what to look for. First, grab any penny dated 1960. Then look under the date. If you see a small D, that means it was struck at the Denver Mint. That little D is your golden ticket. The 1960 D had several secret varieties, and one of them is so rare that collectors fight over it. The most famous one is the 1960 D small date asterisk asterisk variety to the naked eye. It looks like a normal penny. But under magnification, the zero in 1960 is smaller and more oval-shaped, and the numbers sit slightly higher. This was caused by the mint switching dies mid-year. Only a fraction of the Denver coins were struck this way. In circulated condition, a 1960 D small date might be worth $20 to $50. But in high-grade mint condition, these have sold for $3,000 to over $5,000. That's not pocket change. That's life-changing value. But now here comes the shocker. There is an even rarer version called the 1960 D small date over large date. That means the small date was struck over an older large date design, creating a ghost-like double date. You can actually see two different zero shapes layered on top of each other. Only a handful of these are known. One certified example sold for more than $10,000 at auction. $10,000 from a penny someone once ignored. Now let's go deeper, because this is where the hidden treasure gets real. Some 1960 D pennies were struck with double die errors. This means the die that stamped the coin was misaligned and impressed the design twice. Look closely at Liberty, In God We Trust, and Lincoln's Eye and Beard. If you see thick, doubled letters or a shadow-like effect, you might be holding a true double die error. These coins have sold for $300 to $1,500, depending on how strong the doubling is. And the more dramatic the doubling, the bigger the big money. But wait, it gets crazier. There are also 1960 D pennies struck on the wrong metal. Most pennies should be copper-colored and weigh about 3.11 grams. But a few were mistakenly struck on foreign planchets or experimental blanks. If your penny looks pale, silvery, or unusually light or heavy, don't spend it. A 1960 penny struck on the wrong metal has sold for over $8,000. That's not luck. That's a life-changing value hiding in plain sight. Now here's another jaw-dropping fact. Some 1960 D pennies have off-center strikes where part of Lincoln or the date is missing. These happen when the blank is not properly centered during striking. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more collectors pay. A strong off-center 1960 D penny can sell for $200 to $2,000. Still just a penny. But now it's big money. And there's more. Some 1960 D cents were struck with clipped planchets asterisk asterisk, meaning a chunk of the coin is missing from the edge because the metal sheet was cut incorrectly. These coins look like someone took a bite out of them, and collectors love them. Depending on the size of the clip, these can bring $100 to $1,000. This is why collectors call the 1960 D penny a hidden treasure factory. Now let me tell you a true auction story that will give you chills. A collector in the United States once bought a roll of old pennies at a flea market for just $5. Inside that roll was a 1960 D small date in near-perfect condition. He sent it to be graded, and it came back. MS-67 red. That single penny sold for over $6,000. $5 into $6,000. That's the definition of life-changing value. So how do you know if your 1960 D penny is special? Here's your checklist. Look at the date. It must say 1960. Look for the D mint mark under the date. Check if the date looks small and compact. That's the small date. Use a magnifier to look for doubling in the letters and Lincoln's face. Weigh the coin. If it's not around 3.11 grams, it could be a wrong planchet error. Look at the rim. If it's uneven, clipped, or stretched, that could be big money. And always remember, condition matters. A bright red, shiny 1960 D penny is worth far more than a dark, worn one. That's why some are worth a few dollars and others are worth thousands. Right now, there are people unknowingly spending these coins every day. Cashiers, kids, collectors, and even banks are releasing hidden treasure back into circulation. And one of those coins could be in your hand tonight. So before you toss that penny aside, before you spend it, before you ignore it, look again. Because the next 1960 D. Lincoln Memorial penny you touch could be big money. It could be a hidden treasure, and it could carry a truly life-changing value. Check your jars. Check your rolls. Check your old collections. And if you want to keep discovering coins that can turn ordinary people into winners, subscribe right now, because the next coin I reveal might be worth even more than this one. Stop right there, because the tiny silver-colored coin you've probably ignored your entire life could secretly be worth more than a luxury car. I'm talking about the 1970 British 5 pence, a coin so misunderstood, so mysterious, that in the right form it has delivered big money, hidden treasure, and even life-changing value to the people who knew what to look for. Most people think it's just 5 pence, but what if I told you that some versions of this coin are worth hundreds, thousands, and even tens of thousands of pounds? Here's the strange part. The year 1970 was not a normal year in British coinage. The United Kingdom was preparing for the biggest change in its money system in over 1,000 years. Old pounds, shillings, and pence were about to be wiped out. Decimalization was coming. And behind the scenes, the Royal Mint was experimenting, testing, and quietly striking new coins that were never meant for the public. And that's how the 1975 pence mystery was born. The public never saw a normal 5p in 1970. Officially, the 5 pence coin was first released in 1968. But in 1970, a small number of special 5p coins were struck only for proof sets and internal mint use. Most were never meant to circulate. Many were melted down. Only a handful escaped into collectors' hands. That's what makes this coin a hidden treasure. And if you find one, you're holding big money. Now here's the shocker. A genuine 1970 British 5p does exist, but not the way most people think. It was struck only in proof quality, meaning mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp edges, and incredible detail. These coins were sold in extremely limited Royal Mint proof sets. And today, a real 1975p proof can sell for £500 to £2,000 depending on condition. But wait, there's something even crazier. There are a pattern version of the 1975p. These were experimental coins struck to test metal composition, thickness, and design. They were never intended for collectors. One of these 1975p pattern coins sold for over £10,000 at a London auction. That's a coin that originally represented 5 pence, now delivering a life-changing value. So how do you tell if your 5p is special? Here's where it gets exciting. First, check the date. If it says 1970, stop everything. That alone makes it extremely rare. Now look at the color. A genuine proof or pattern coin will have a deep mirror-like shine. The fields will look like glass, while the queen's portrait and the crowned thistle will be frosted. Next, check the rim. Proof and pattern coins have perfect, squared rims. Normal circulation coins have softer, rounded edges. Now look at the details. On a real 1970 proof 5p, the queen's hair, the crown jewels, and the thistle petals will be razor sharp. If your coin looks dull, worn, or soft, it's likely not the rare version. But if it looks like it was struck yesterday, you could be holding big money. And now let me tell you a story that still shocks collectors. A family in England inherited a small box of old coins from their grandfather. Buried among them was a shiny 1975 pence piece. They assumed it was common, until a dealer noticed something strange. It was a proof strike. They sent it to auction.it, sold for over £1. 205 pence became a life-changing value. But we're not done yet. Some 1975p coins exist with die alignment errors where the front and back of the coin don't line up correctly. These mint mistakes make the coin even rarer. Error proofs like this have sold for £2,000 to £5,000. Then there are off-metal strikes. A few 1975p pieces were struck on the wrong metal blanks. These look different in color and weight. One of these freak errors sold for more than £8,000. That's not luck. That's hidden treasure. Now imagine how many of these are still sitting in old Royal Mint sets, estate collections, and forgotten drawers. Every single one is a potential big money jackpot. So if you ever see a 1970 British 5p, don't walk away, run toward it. Look at it. Study it. Because you might be holding a coin that was never meant for the public, a coin that slipped through history, a coin that now carries life-changing value. Before you spend or ignore any old British coins, go back and check them. Look for that date. Look for that shine. Look for that mystery. And if you want to keep discovering hidden treasure hiding in plain sight, hit subscribe right now, because the next coin I reveal could be worth even more than this one. Imagine this, a tiny copper penny, worth just 1 cent when it was made, tucked
ये
away in
आपको
an old
वीडियो
jar,
एनफ सिक्का आना
suddenly
चाहिए जितना
turning
को आ
into a golden
रहे
nugget worth hundreds, thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars. That's exactly the kind of treasure story behind the
थैंक यू ब्रदर
1957 D Lincoln Wheat Penny. At first glance, it seems ordinary, but under the right conditions, and perhaps with a rare error, it could be a show-stopping find. The 1957 D penny was minted in the Denver Mint. That's what the D stands for. The design is classic. On the obverse front is the bust of Abraham Lincoln, the first time a U.S. circulating coin
अपने
featured
बारे
a
से शूट
president.
करता भैया
The
ये
reverse
ब्लॉग
shows two wheat
अपने
stalks, which is why it's called a wheat penny. The
आधा
wheat cent
लिखाला
design ran
सेंटर
from
में आपको वीडियो
1909 to 1958. 1957 was among the last few years of that era, giving it historical significance for collectors who aim to complete full wheat cent collections. The 1957 D penny is not rare in terms of mintage.
ये
In
आपको
fact,
वीडियो
over
एनफ सिक्का आना चाहिए जितना को आ रहे
1,051,342,000 of these coins were struck. That makes it one of the more common wheat pennies by production volume. In short,
थैंक यू ब्रदर
1957 D is historically significant and part of the final chapter of the wheat penny era, but under normal circumstances, it's common because so many were made. The typical 1957 D penny is abundant. But the twist is, condition matters enormously, and some extremely well-preserved or rare error examples are where the serious money is to. Here's a breakdown of value
अपने
ranges.
बारे से शूट
In
करता भैया
US dollars
ये ब्लॉग
condition slash
अपने
grade slash feature typical value,
ब्लॉग तेरा
approximate,
आधा
circulated,
लिखाला
average
सेंटर में
wear a
आपको
few
वीडियो
cents, face value is 1 cent, circulated, better than average low dollars to a few dollars, uncirculated slash mint state. Common grade like MS, 63 to MS, 65, several dollars up to about $6 to $13,
ये
or a
आपको
bit more.
वीडियो एनफ सिक्का
Higher
आना चाहिए जितना को आ
uncirculated grade. MS 66, for instance, $24. Superb mint state. Top grade like MS,
थैंक यू
67RD,
ब्रदर
$310 according to one value chart. Exceptional, pristine, eye-appealing MS, 67 plus, often with full red color, no spots. Auction record, $6,600 for one 1957. D Wheat Penny, MS 67 plus RD. Rare error or extraordinary varieties, e.g. sharp strike,
ये
perfect
अपने
red
बारे से
color,
शूट करता भैया
unusual
ये ब्लॉग
toning, or rare
अपने
minting anomalies.
ब्लॉग
Offers
तेरा
and listings show
आधा
thousands of dollars,
लिखाला सेंटर में
sometimes
आपको
several
वीडियो
hundreds or more, depending on collector interest and condition. So yes, while the average 1957 D is common and inexpensive, a top-tier, perfectly preserved version can reach hundreds or thousands of dollars, and in rare
ये
ideal
आपको
conditions
वीडियो
fetch
एनफ सिक्का
thousands
आना चाहिए
or
जितना को
even
आ
over
रहे
$6,000 at auction. Condition slash grade, mint state. Know where a clean, sharp strike with all details
थैंक यू
intact. No
ब्रदर
worn letters, smooth surfaces, crisp features. Drastically increases value. Full red color, original copper luster, not darkened slash brown, is highly desired. Many favorites among collectors are bright red. Eye appeal, no spots, corrosion, or discoloration. No carbon spots or toning that distracts. Clean surfaces that look fresh.
ये अपने
Sharp
बारे से
details
शूट
on
करता भैया
Lincoln's
ये
hair,
बनानी है
cheek,
अपने
and wheat stalks on the reverse,
ब्लॉग तेरा
indicating a strong
आधा
strike. High
लिखाला सेंटर
professional
में
grading,
आपको वीडियो
MS 67, MS 67 plus, etc., from trusted services like PCGS or NGC. This offers buyers and sellers confidence, which adds premium minting anomalies slash errors slash rare varieties. In
ये
special
आपको
cases,
वीडियो एनफ सिक्का आना चाहिए
misstrikes,
जितना को आ
repunched mint
रहे
marks, mint error coins, value can increase beyond typical levels. Some listings and collector interest reflect coins
थैंक यू
with such traits
ब्रदर
commanding a high premium. Its huge mintage, over a billion coins struck, means most coins are common as a result. The normal 1957 D pennies, particularly those circulated, have very low value. Many are worth just cents or a few dollars. The rarity and corresponding high value only comes when the coin is in superb condition or has rare,
ये
desirable
अपने बारे
traits
से शूट करता
slash
भैया
errors,
ये बनानी
so
है
it's a common
अपने
coin with rare potential.
ब्लॉग
It's
तेरा
part of the final years of the
आधा
wheat penny
लिखाला
era,
सेंटर में आपको वीडियो
1909 to 1958, making it key for collectors wanting a complete wheat cent set. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the wheat penny carried the image of Lincoln, the first U.S. circulating coin to portray a president. That design legacy resonates strongly with coin
ये आपको
enthusiasts. Its
वीडियो एनफ
massive
सिक्का आना
mintage
चाहिए
and
जितना को आ
widespread
रहे
circulation mean many people already own one. So flipping through old piggy banks, old coin jars, or family collections can
Ini
unearth
betul.
potentially valuable specimens. If you're making a YouTube or social media video about this coin, here's a structure that grabs viewers and builds suspense. What if that dull old penny in your pocket, the one that's only worth 1 cent, is actually a hidden treasure that could fetch thousands of dollars? Tell the story. Brief background. Lincoln, the Wheat Penny series, why 1957? D
Ya
matters
tuh baru ikut
historically.
ke apa ya
Reveal the
liburan gitu.
facts. Show
Oke,
how common most
Baru
1957
kita.
D pennies
aku
are,
tahu
over
lah,
1
sudah
billion
mengaku
minted.
dia.
But then transition to here's where it gets exciting. Show dramatic contrasts. Pictures or video of a worn 1957 D penny worth little versus a pristine MS 67 red. Example worth hundreds or thousands.
Iya aku
Educate
video
viewers.
enak sih
How
kak
to
masih
inspect
rajin aku ada.
condition. What to look for. Color, sharpness, errors. What grading means. How to get coins professionally graded. Stoke the hope.
Ini
Remind
betul.
them that many 1957 D pennies are out there, and that one in a million could be a gem. Encourage them to dig through old change jars. Call to action/closure. So next time you see a dusty old penny, stop. Flip it over, examine it. Because maybe, just maybe, you're sitting on a small fortune. That narrative arc, from ordinary penny to hidden treasure, keeps people hooked
Ya paling
and
baru
leaves them rooting
apa
for a
ya
surprise
tinggal gitu.
discovery.
Apa
The 1957
Baru
D-Wheat
kita.
penny illustrates
lah,
perfectly how
aku lah,
coins with
sudah
humble
mengaku
beginnings
dia.
can turn into prized collector's items. While most 1957 D pennies are common and worth little, the rare, high-grade specimens, especially those with full red color, flawless strikes, or unusual minting anomalies, demand serious
Iya aku
attention.
video
A
enak sih kak
pristine
masih rajin
MS
aku ada.
67 plus example sold for as much as $6,600 at auction. That shows the sky is the limit, and that the right
Ini
penny
betul.
could indeed fetch hundreds, thousands, or even more, depending on market demand and desirability. If you ever dig up a 1957 D, don't dismiss it. Treat it as a potential treasure. Examine it, compare to grading guides, maybe get it professionally graded. Because for the discerning collector, that unassuming penny might just be worth more than you can imagine.